sir. We are the Group 9 and we are going to tackle about what is global demography. And before we start our discussion, here are the overview of global demography. Global demography. As its name suggests, global demography is the study of the worldwide population rather than the population of a specific country, region, or city.
What is global demography? Demography seeks to know the levels and trends in population size and its components. The search for explanation of demographic change and their implications for society. They use census birth, service visa records, even motor vehicles, and school registration. Some examples of demography are age, sex, education, nationality, ethnicity, or religion, to name a few.
The advantage of global demography. Global demography provides very specific information about different populations, such as their age, gender, family status, race, income, and social class. Using this data, a company can drill down into its ideal customers group. So, here are the disadvantages of global demography. People migrate from place to place, and people pass away and are born. Subsequently, marketers cannot simply collect demographic data one time. They have to collect information constantly in order to have a realistic picture of what is happening at any given point. And it covers the following: population, ecology, and urbanization. What is population and ecology? Population and ecology are closely related to each other. The growth of population can be a burden to environment, depleting its resources and threatening human and animal life. What is urbanization? Urbanization is a trend unique to the past few centuries. By 2050, it's projected that more than two-thirds of the world population will live in urban areas. It's projected that close to 7 billion people will live in urban areas in 2050. People tend to migrate from rural to urban areas as they become richer. So, here are the tools of demography. Count. This refers to the absolute number of a population or any demographic event occurring in a specified area in a specified time period. For example, 1,200,500 live births occurred in Japan in 1977. The raw quantities of demographic events are the basis of all other statistical refinements and analysis. Rate. The frequency of demographic events in a population during a specified time period, usually a year, divided by the population at risk of the event occurring during that time period. Rates tell how common it is for a given event to occur. For example, in 1997 in Papua New Guinea, there were 34 live births per 1,000 population. Most rates are expressed per 1,000 population. Ratio. The relation of one population subgroup to the total population or to another group, that is, one subgroup divided by another. For example, the sex ratio in Iran in 1996 was 103 males per 100 females. Proportion. The relation of population subgroup to the entire population, that is a population subgroup divided by the entire population. For example, the proportion of Malaysia's population classified as urban was 57 or 57%. Constant. An unchanging arbitrary number by which rates, ratio, or proportions can be multiplied to express these measures in a more understandable fashion. Cohort measure. A statistic about measures event occurring to a cohort, a group of people sharing a common demographic experience who are observed through time. The most common used cohort is the birth cohort, people born in the same year or period. Other kinds of cohorts include marriage cohorts and school class cohorts. Period measure. A statistic that measures events occurring to all part of a population during one period of time. This measure takes a snapshot of a population. For example, the death rate of the entire Canadian population in 1997 was 7 per 1,000. So we are done with the tools of demography, and now we are going to talk about population. Population composition and density. Population density can be expressed as a ratio between the number of people and a particular unit of measure. The most common of such measure is crude or arithmetic density. To arrive at the crude population density of a place, it is necessary to divide the total number of people who live there by the total land area. For example, the United States has an average population density of about 84 people per square mile. New York City, however, has a population density of 23,671 people per square mile. Therefore, crude density is a very general measurement of population distribution in order to get a more accurate picture of the population densities and the significance of variance in demographic characteristics throughout the world. We must turn to measures such as agricultural density, nutritional density, age-sex pyramids, and birth mortality rates. So we are done about population, and now we are going to talk about fertility, mortality, and migration.
Fertility rate in global demography. Fertility rate is one of the demographic processes that global demography deals with. As we define global demography, it is also a study of population growth. A population can change based upon people migrating into an area or out of an area. But a population can also change based upon how many people are being born, how many people are capable of having children, and how many people are dying. A population size is first affected by fertility. Fertility is the number of children that an average woman bears during her reproductive years. A female's childbearing years last from the beginning of menstruation to menopause. Fertility depends on many factors such as nutrition, sexual behavior, culture, endocrinology, economics, lifestyle, and emotions. The term fertility is often confused with the term fecundity, but they are not the same thing. Fecundity is the number of children an average woman is capable of bearing. The number of potential children a woman can have is often reduced by health, financial constraints, cultural norms, and personal choice. For example, as of 2012, the world's average fertility rate is about 3 children per woman, while its fecundity rate is about 20 per woman. The highest fertility rate occurs in Africa, where the average fertility rate is about 6. On the other hand, Europe has the lowest fertility rate, where each woman has on average of 1 child. In the United States, the average fertility rate is about 2. Fertility is understood most widely in geography as one of the 3 determinants of population change alongside migration and mortality. Everyone is born, everyone moves geographically in some manner, and everyone eventually dies. This self-evident understanding, however, believes the importance of the conceptual framing of these processes, and none more the notion of fertility. The analysis of fertility needs to move beyond method and concern over technique and toward being able to articulate new visions of alternatives and just futures. Advancing analysis from the classic fertility, narratives and statistical analysis of survey Census data will allow for new ways of seeing fertility.
My topic is all about mortality rate. According to the definitions of the mortality rate, an index of the numbers of deaths in a given year or specified time interval is defined. Population is called mortality rate. When we say mortality rate, it is the total numbers of deaths that occurred particularly in large scales such as in a population or a geographical area. The geographical area, that is the area when the peoples occurred, the presence occurred. Like for example, we have a population A and a population B. In a population A, we have 5,000 people occurred, while the population B, we have 52,000 people occurred. In a population A, the numbers of deaths of the COVID-19, like for example, is 4,000, while the population B is 5,080. The growth rates of the two population are the population A is we have the growth rate of the 800 per 10,000, while the growth rates of the population B is 977 per 10,000. Therefore, the population B has a higher growth rate than the population A. To sum it up, meaning it is a typically expressed in a population unit, such as death per 1,000 people for recall period of a time.
Migration. This has been less studied in areas where natural disasters or politico-military concerns lead to entire populations being displaced. The initial population structure will be unchanged. Through post-migration, the population will have altered to reflect those who have survived the process, typically showing increases in older children and younger adults. As you will see at this picture, this is the top 10 most populous countries as of July 21, 2022. So the largest country of this world is China, and the smallest one is the Mexico. Once again, we are the Group 9, and that would be all. Thank you.